Anton, I'm going to make you a superstar. You need to have a brand as a founder, as a person.
Getting out of the comfort zone, I would say that, okay, I'm doing behind the scenes, I know who I am, but then if you want to be a successful entrepreneur.
For me, the biggest game changer was when I said, I need to go all in. I was hiding from the world. I will give you a call and I will say the magic words. The magic words are the party is over. And that means we sell everything. And then
welcome to our second episode of Marketing, Finance and Entrepreneurship with Anton. It's our second episode together and today we are on the couch, on the real couch. Last time we were all on our different couches. And this time, as you know, this podcast is a free form. We're going to discuss about the things that helped us and we have advice for others in order to achieve their financial freedom or their financial gains. Same with marketing. How important are all of these things together? And today, I think we're going to discuss about what we didn't do last time. How did Anton reach to 8 million? Did you reach 8 million views on LinkedIn? Or?
I reached 8 million views just so I'm happy I'm introduced like that. Yes. So I reached 8 million views on LinkedIn. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to do today. Because last time, those of you who watched our first video, we're able to see what kind of advice I was giving and how I see this. But now we're going to go step by step of seeing what helps you to get there. Yes. And so let's rewind all the way back to the beginning of so-called, let's say, you've been an entrepreneur for so many years already. How do you now say that once you started building your personal brand on LinkedIn, what do you see the difference in between doing this before where you were not putting so much effort and now?
Yes. So first, just to say, I'm happy you introduced me as Anton, the 8 million view person on LinkedIn, who was also an entrepreneur on the side, you know. So, I mean, and also I really appreciate, like we spoke last time on our podcast, like, you know, in many, but high level, like what it takes to actually succeed on social media. And you gave some really like amazing, feedback and strong statements, you know, that stuck in my mind. So I'll definitely use those today as well. But those are your statements. I'll flag it, you know. And so, I mean, like I was an entrepreneur, a founder of several successful startups. Through that journey, I learned how important it is to have a brand, you know, as a company. But even more importantly, you need to have a brand as a founder, as a person. And, you know, when I was talking to you about this idea, this was a vision back then. So a year and a half ago, there was a vision. How can I build my personal brand on a particular social media platform? Not even for me knowing what that means, you know? Mm-hmm. And, you know, I remember those days, you know, when we spoke and I told you, I want to do this, to have a lot of views on social media platforms. Let's make it happen. And there's one thing you told me that convinced me, you know, to kind of go in this journey because I was still unsure, was you said, Anton, I'm going to make you a superstar. Now, obviously, you know, first of all, that's a great thing to hear when somebody tells you that. First of all, to say, wow, I can become a superstar, you know, this is possible. But obviously it was a figure of speech, you know, it was a figurative expression saying there's a process and methodology that you can use on social media, how you can build your personal brand for you to benefit you in your professional life, in your career, in your entrepreneurial journey with your company, with your personal life as well, if you want to go that. But it was really kind of what stuck with me. You said, Anton, I'm going to make you a superstar. Now let me explain it to you how it works behind the scenes, you know? And kind of, that's how I remember how we started off. You need to now say if it was like that. And if you remember me saying that you said that.
Well, first of all, I like that you remember this. And second of all, I think it's a good start. I just actually, that sense is true because we can see today there are 8 million views and what it takes. So today I really would like to focus also on the steps that for those of you who are listening and wondering, how can I get to 8 million views or even more, and how can I get this? But right before we're going to dive into that, tell me what has changed for you in order to have such a visibility on LinkedIn than you didn't have it before.
Yeah. So just to say like the obvious part, people today know me a lot more than I would imagine it, you know, and a lot more than they did a year and a half ago. So today, for instance, give an example to people like what this means. I'll give two examples actually. One example is if I'm at a conference, and I'm just an attendee there, or maybe I'm a speaker, people would come to me and say, hey, Anton, I know you on LinkedIn. Or they would say, Anton, we spoke on LinkedIn. Or Anton, I commented on your post on LinkedIn. By the way, I don't remember this kind of stuff. So if you tell me I commented on your post on LinkedIn, I will not remember, get hundreds of comments each time. So, but the people literally, they have it's very easy for them to approach me. And it's very easy for me to approach other people. So if I today send somebody a message, or I have a request, or I'm asking for something, people are very keen to reply because of my social media success, fame, I don't know how I want to call it. So on one side, people offer me a lot of things, people approach me a lot of things, so they recognize me, and they're kind of, I get a little bit more what I want than before because I have this personal brand. So this is like practical, I gave it like practical. Now let me tell you another example, like what it means to be kind of like LinkedIn famous. I told you I was like my friend. I was in a workplace, working, and I had like a shirt and flip flops and shorts, and I was working on my laptop. And a friend of mine called me and said, "Anton, please can you join us because in a cafe shop because we want to talk something with you." And I went out of the hotel where I was carrying my laptop and my flip flops, and running around. And as I'm like kind of going through the city, somebody DMs me on LinkedIn and says, "Hey Anton, is that you? I think I just saw you in flip flops walking around. You passed next to our office." So I never spoke with this person before and didn't know prior to that who is this person. But imagine I get recognized walking around in flip flops, and with carrying a laptop and running around, and a person from LinkedIn recognized me and DMs me because of that. So this is a personal example. But this is basically what you can expect. People will recognize you, and if you want something, people will be willing to support you.
And do you also see, because you've been in entrepreneurship for so long, and do you also, in a sense of, see the regret, or see also the part of this that, I should have done this previously with my companies? Would that have changed for you something? How do you see it now? Like, because I know that I've spoken to so many high-level professionals, entrepreneurs, CEOs, and all of them. And often they are like, I don't want to really put myself out there. I don't want to really do this. I let somebody else be the face of it. How do you see this?
So let me look in this camera for all the audience. If you're a startup founder and you are not building your personal brand, this is the biggest mistake you can make that's going to hurt your company. So I really wanted to make sure that people can catch it.
And I agree with that. And then another thing is what people are afraid of, even if you're a startup or entrepreneur or whoever, and even if you're going to fail, for example, it's not going to happen to you. But you have built your personal brand alongside of it, which means you have learned some skills around it. You have built some kind of a visibility, which means, let's say the first company is going to fail or something like this, but then you already have visibility to start another one and see what is going to happen. So we shouldn't be so afraid of that. I'm going to be the face of it. Let's say I'm going to fail for it. Well, I'm going to say you're not going to fail as badly if you're going to really ruin your reputation, like some Freedom or somebody else who's going to like steal a lot of money or something like this. This is a different story. But I see the fear around getting out of the comfort zone, I would say, that, I'm doing behind the scenes, I know who I am, but then in this world, things are happening so quickly. And if you're not in the picture, let's say your company's going to fail, and then what? Then you don't have any kind of context anywhere, you don't have anything, but from your failure, you learn the same way. Do you agree or disagree?
So I absolutely agree. And I think like this is because you actually said what's the problem here. The problem is not that people don't know that this will help their company. They know it will help their company. Yeah. Come on, let's be honest, What they're really afraid of is, it's exactly this, stepping out of the comfort zone because they're doing it for the first time. Mm-hmm. And they're afraid of bad reactions. Yeah. That's basically, I'm afraid that somebody will point the finger and say, I saw your video, I saw your text, it was so bad, Yeah. And just to tell everyone, that very rarely happens, almost never.
But even if it happens, it helps you to learn. Yes. Like none of us have come to the point without learning. And it's kind of like, I mean, obviously, I'm not coming from such a strong academic background, but we have this kind of mindset, or as many people I've spoken to, once I finish my university, then I no longer need to learn. I mean, from there on, you exactly start learning because you're going to implement the things that you know and you're going to test it if it's actually really work. Because one thing is reading from the book, the other part is doing it. And it's the same in terms of getting the 8 million views. What I can tell you strategy, how to get there, but if you're not going to do it, we're not going to get there, and we don't have nothing to compare. We have nothing to see, and we don't have an idea how to go next there, because so that's why I would say exactly that, not to be afraid of putting yourself out there, whichever form or font or anything. Plus also, you're never going to lose. You're never going to lose in this. Let's say if you record your first podcast, you learn about how to set up everything, and then maybe you will realize that you're extremely good at editing. And you can have a side gig on a side to edit things and bring yourself an extra income or anything like this. So you're already going to have more skills than ever before. I think you told me that last episode we had a Frank here who is not here today, but next time he's going to join and, he's going to be here. Like, what kind of opportunities have also opened up for him just because posting and being regular over there? So you will somehow never lose. Although, let's now talk about the ways you can go wrong. And I loved your post another day. Those who haven't seen this, I would put it out here on the YouTube. You will see this. But
you think people are stupid and they can't recognize that you're using AI to generate your content. You think you're so smart because you open up ChatGPT and then you tell him, please create content for me, for X, for LinkedIn, and please write me emails so I can reply to people. Please write me DMs so I can send them to people. And then nobody replies, nobody reacts. There's no engagement. Then you wonder, maybe I'm not so smart. Maybe this doesn't work. You should start balancing yourself. And it's because people recognize it. And that's the easiest way how you can ruin your reputation.
It's the fact that about ChatGPT and using the copy paste from there. That's not going to get you anywhere.
Yes. I mean, so first, it's so important to create content, put it on social media, because that's the day away how to attract attention. 30 years ago, 40 years ago, you have to buy ads on TV to get in front of people, or you buy a billboard where a lot of cars were driving, or something like that, right? But today, the way to get attention and, do ads, obviously for free in that context, is to put out content on social media. That's it, actually. And I think now something amazing has happened with generative AI, is that it allowed lazy people to be more lazy and create content in a lazy way, and then put it on social media and think magic will happen. And I mean, just for everyone who's listening, it's still not that bad, but sometimes I run into a lot of, content that's obviously generated through ChatGPT or something similar. And the amount of garbage that is created there, and you see it immediately, and you're embarrassing yourself, and very rarely people react. I react, by the way, to this kind of stuff where I see that something is obviously, I write to you like, thanks very much for the ChatGPT comment, But I think very soon we're going to be in an environment when you're spammed with generative AI content. And that's not going to add a lot of value because people don't care about this, they care about you.
Yeah. And this is something I would just say from the strategy point, if you're thinking of starting anything or you're thinking you want to change something in your life, you don't like ChatGPT or any other AIs that we have available today are very helpful for you to gather ideas, to put together and everything. But at the end of the day, you need to have you, because there's only version of you is only you. There is no one else. I mean, unless you're a very good actor or actress or whatever you want to do. But if you take the copy paste from there, and even you can take a test right now, ask ChatGPT to write you something that you would like to voice over, and then let's say do a podcast out of it or something like this. Just listen how robotic and how boring it is that within a freaking 2 minutes you fall asleep. It's just, there's no this vibe, I would say. And all we want from the social media is entertainment, value, and entertainment and value. I don't know what would be the third thing why people are going on social media. So now, as we know this part, I would say, what did you see when I told you, okay, from the beginning, how did you start posting on LinkedIn? Because you took the LinkedIn first.
Yeah, there was a specific reason. I think you remember it. Or I will explain it later. Yeah, I started with LinkedIn, yeah.
So you started with LinkedIn. Let's start with this. You picked LinkedIn, and what was your strategy in the beginning? Yeah. And then what did you realize in between that, what you have to do differently in order to get more?
Yes. So first of all, just to say, the strategy that I had is the things that you told me to do, so that everybody doesn't think I came up with that. So you told me 3 things actually, which were really defining, like for me to kind of start and continue and have this success. First thing you told me, which was fascinating to hear, quantity over quality at the beginning. I always imagine it would be the opposite, because you would tell me, Anton, the content has to be great, has to be perfect, because if it's perfect, it goes viral and everybody's happy. But then you told me, Anton, this is not how it works. You need to create a lot of content to learn how to create content. Second, to find your community market fit, like the content that you put out, people have to like. Maybe it's garbage, then you need to adjust, right? So first fascinating point, quantity over quality at the beginning, definitely. The second thing you told me is to niche down, to really talk about things that I am comfortable talking about because I know them and I can share my experiences and I can really be, give firm statements, advices, how I see it. And that goes very closely today what we understand with ChatGPT. ChatGPT just blurbs out generic stuff, but people want to hear, what do you think? What is your experience? How would you do it? So you were told me, niche down, find the topics that you are comfortable with and talk about that, share your experiences, share your thoughts, share what you think, and go ahead. And the third thing you told me, which I didn't initially listen, you told me, Anton, do videos. But you told me, Anton, do videos, and I said, yeah, but I don't know it, I'm not comfortable, I knew how to write fairly good, but I didn't know how to do content, video content, and you told me, Anton, do more videos. But I think a conclusion from that, which was the third point you told me, was, Anton, you need to create content you're comfortable with. Because, of course, you gave me actually a brilliant advice back then to do videos, which I didn't know, I was not comfortable. I just had no clue how to do it, which I learned now over a year time. But you told me you need to be comfortable with the content that you're creating. And that's why originally I started talking about, I started with long format text, so really long text. And I talked about how market making in the crypto industry works, what happens behind the scenes on the exchanges, how the tokens get listed, all this madness, and I started pushing out content, try to do it once per day. Obviously today I'll do a lot more than once per day, but you told me, Anton, do it at least one per day, and kind of I tried to do that. That was my start.
Yeah. Why I'm talking of video in that sense is we had just had another day, There is a guy whose videos I really, really like. I think he's a brilliant, smart guy, but I still cannot remember his name, even though seeing his videos daily. And just that shows you how small is a attention span we have. And so if you think you make one amazing video in 1 month and then everybody's going to watch it and like it and nobody knows you, it's not going to happen. That's just the hard truth. I mean, it's not going to happen unless you have an amazing PR team behind you who's going to publish it, who's going to go and show it. But if you do this all by yourself and you're trying to get your voice out there with one perfect video, you're not going to get really far. It's just not going to happen. And people will not remember your name. You need to be like, the repetition is the king of everything. In that sense, the more you repeat, the more you're going to do it. And about the videos, of course, this is the hardest part. And I'm not here to judge anybody, because even for me, I have so many videos that are sitting on my hard drive because I made them ready, and then the insecurity kicked in. It's like, oh, I didn't say this, I didn't do this, oh, I should have done this way, no, this didn't look like I wanted. And then I keep it there. And honestly, I say it's one of the biggest mistakes. And one of the hardest things, of course, to overcome, because none of us like to look at us really so-called on a video or listen to our voice, which now I actually enjoy. It's different how once you start doing, you get very comfortable with certain things. But it's one of the hardest things to overcome, but only way of overcoming it is to do it. Yes. I don't think there is anything else. You're not going to come over with your mind of thinking, oh, now it's going to be fine. And again, like we all hear this over and over again, your first video is going to be crap. Your first post is going to be crap. Your first things you're going to do are not going to be perfect. It's the same like your first steps as a baby. You're not going to be perfect. but you keep on doing it. And then from there on, it's going to grow. But now I want to go back to the first one post per day. Mm-hmm. So you started with one post per day. Yes. How it was growing from there, and then what did you do afterwards? And do you see any difference in the growth?
Yeah, so I started with one post per day, as you advised me. Sometimes I slipped and I didn't do it once per day. I felt bad, but it was kind of fairly consistent once per day. And then I remember that day, I was kind of going fairly well. Followers were firing, views coming. I said, I have an amazing idea. Let's do twice per day. And I thought the world will flip over because I decided to do twice per day. But then you realize actually, I think first of all, you realize that even twice a day is not enough from a perspective of reaching the right people at the right scale, at the right frequency, with the right content, And, I remember I thought I was going crazy when I came up with the next brilliant idea, which was let's do 3 times per day. Wow, I thought I was going to go crazy, And so first, what really was surprising for me after I went this journey from 1 time per day, 2 times per day, 3 times per day now, is still I did never get feedback for people telling me, Anton, I see your content all the time on my feed, nowhere else. And because I thought, am I not spamming people with 3 times per day? And then you learn the answer is no. Mm-hmm. And you're not spamming them actually, especially if you do high quality content. It's just the platform doesn't work like that. The social media platforms is not like your email. Mm-hmm. So if you have 100 people receiving your email, each time you blast an email, 100 people receive it and view it and open it perhaps. Social media platforms don't work like that. They show it to a small group of people. If those like it, they show it to more and more and so on. So not each post captures everyone in your network and beyond that network. But to tell you, today I am posting, brace yourself, everybody who cared that, I post between 7 to 10 times per day. And I can tell you, when I post usually 10 times per day, then people connect with me or start following me and they send me a message and say, Anton, you're popping up on my network, in my feed all the time. So for everybody listening to this, imagine I have to do it 10 times per day for some people to notice that I'm posting a lot. So if you're posting once per day, nobody notices you. If you're posting once per week, trust me, nobody knows you exist. But I think you told me all of these things. You kept on telling me. So I want to hear it from you. What's the optimal amount of posting, or how would you structure it actually from a beginner?
If you're a beginner, so I think you did in the right way. First of all, you start. I recommend, number 1, to have all the social platforms ready. So which means you're not going to take it out. No, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. Like, for example, if you're a professional entrepreneur, CEO, running a big company, and you would say, no, I'm not doing TikTok, for example, because it's for children. But you are already giving yourself a chance of not knowing data, not knowing what's going to work. Because what if you're going to go viral on TikTok, and this will give you, again, reputation that people, because once you go viral on TikTok, you go viral on other platforms as well. Or same on Instagram. So I always say not to limit yourself of thinking, I am the most professional person on this earth and I'm not going to do that. No, you have to pick up the platforms. I would say still in the beginning, 1 to 3 posts per day. Mm-hmm. You're not going to see anybody's liking it if you don't have a network beforehand. If nobody knows you, you have to become comfortable with the fact that no one is going to like it. No one's going to follow. It's okay. You set yourself a calendar, 3 posts a day, and I'm going to give a tip for you how to make the content. Like if you're wondering what to do. What Anton said before, be yourself, of course. Don't start copying anybody else. It's not going to get you far. You're just going to somehow waste your time. Although, look what type of content is searched on Google. So you can literally go into the Google, type in how to become a successful entrepreneur, for example. And you can see what people are asking because you're going to have that list there. And then you're going to generate content of these questions because they've been searched, which means it already gives you an option to give from your perspective. But these questions been asked, that means people are looking for it. They are interested of it. There's no point of inventing a bicycle if the bicycle is already there. You just need to bring your expertise, your things. And then, exactly, you're going to do 1 or 3 posts a day. And after a month or 2. I would say 3 months actually. Not even after a month you get no data. You just don't understand. You have enough of content of seeing, okay, what this audience likes, where I should be focusing more, and you're going to do this. Then you're also going to do the research of seeing what are the topics or the posts that are already viral, that are already working. So you're going to more or less work around the content. So it's, unless, you come up with something, wow, that we don't even know yet. But I mean, that's a bit a different topic. But if you are, if you are a startup founder or you're starting your own personal brand, let's say you want to be the face of it, believe me, there are already so-called famous ones out there. Now just start looking what they're doing, what worked for them, but it will not be one video per day or one video per month. Brace yourself that, okay, I have to put the work in it. I have to do it if I want to get there.
You see, the man is sharp and the woman, the cameras are really making it difficult for all the viewers,
But there's a reason for that, maybe.
The camera is like, yeah, let's focus on the boring guy there.
That after 6 months, let's say nothing is working for them. Well, then there are many things. Why is it not working? Number one, you're not posting regularly. So you post once in a blue moon, let's say Wednesday, Friday, and then you expect magic to happen. Second thing is you don't understand what your audience wants. You do content for you and you think, oh, this is who I am, this is what I'm going to do. But you're not doing content for yourself. You're doing content for others in order to connect, in order to have the visibility and everything. Or you don't have the value, or you're in the wrong way. You just need guidance. Like, just really, if things are not working, there's a reason for it. It's just, don't hold yourself there that, oh, I've been doing it and it's not working, but I continue doing it. If it's not working, start looking other options. What were the things you found, actually, when coming to talking about not working out, what were the things you found that some of the things didn't work for you?
So I will tell you what doesn't work for me at all, actually. I don't know how to do good short text content. So like your ex-Twitter style, where it's like 1 line or 2 lines and somehow it hits and people like it. I completely suck at that. So for me, it's like this doesn't work. And people who observe my content, they usually tell me, oh, Anton, you write really long text, or, okay, videos are usually shorter, but, really for me, it's like, I don't know, I cannot do properly this short Twitter X style content. So this definitely like doesn't work for me. Second, like what I feel as well, I could improve on, let's say a lot, is, but I need to do long format videos. Mm-hmm. So because there's so much value, you can get to know people so much better and they can articulate their thoughts and ideas so much better when you give them 15 minutes time than when you give them 15-second time. So I would definitely say a short format content for me, I just suck at it. It's not working out for me, and I'm trying, but it's not working. And then the long format content, which I'm doing very infrequently, I don't have the right processes, how to do it conceptually in my mind. I'm still struggling. And that's where I'm just underperforming, let's say it like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There is this, one of the things is, I'm not the good one and the short one either. This is another thing I would say. Always look of what kind of content you consume by yourself. Like, I'm not consuming a much of so-called Twitter in a sense of short format. I want to know like a little bit more than 1 line. So maybe that's why I'm not able to put it out there with few words. I'd rather have a 1 hour podcast episode, for example, and I will pick it up a lot of information from there that is actually interesting and is giving me the insights. Because if I just say 1 line, I say post 5 times a day, but why is she posting 5 times a day? What are the results from there? So also for this podcast, what we're doing with Anton, the idea is exactly to educate you. How do you get there? All the tips, all the tricks, what we have done to get where we are at this moment. And also you're going to see it on live. What are the things I'm going to advise Anton to do? What are the things Anton advised me financially? All of these kind of things. Because we have to understand, if you want to be a successful entrepreneur or business owner or whatever, these 3 things always go together, is marketing, finance, and the entrepreneur mindset. Because as we know, all of these are going up and down. Yes. And that's the truth, like you think you are an entrepreneur, but then when things gonna happen and you need to be on the lower way over there where you don't have money or things are not working out, then you just need to find the solutions. Same as on marketing, that if it goes down, that nobody sees you, nothing is happening, then you're gonna figure out why is it not happening. Anyways, for you here and don't know, you will expect one episode per week where we're gonna exactly discuss step by step. You will see the growth of Anton's visibility or things that we have done. Just will give you the understanding, okay, this is what I have to do. This is what's gonna happen. And so you have live way of seeing how things can change for everybody. So we're kind of so-called documenting it, which I always wanted to do, to be honest, because I don't want to say anything bad about anybody, but we have a lot of talkers who talk and give advice, but have never tested this in reality. And so it's like, I can talk, but when we're going to put this in a reality, it's not going to work, or maybe it is going to work, but without knowing it, we're not going to get there. So where we were right now with the fact that the long format, the short format, or like, and so these are not the mistakes, but things that you don't find comfortable.
Yeah, I think I fail at the short format content, and just the long format videos. Mm-hmm. This is something that I need to highly improve on and start delivering. So this is underperformance, huh? Mm-hmm. And but I think also, like, I mean, imagine I'm the 8 million person. This is how we started the conversation, and the 8 million view person I'm openly saying there's something holding me back for long format videos. I'm out of my comfort zone with long format videos, and I really liked what you just described, is because I think building in public is something it's the best content you can create. Yes, actually, because people want to see, look at the 8 million view person. Apparently he sucks on short. He doesn't want to do short format because he because he sucks. And the long format videos, he's afraid to do it. Mm-hmm. I think it's such a powerful, communication tool when you show your vulnerability. Yeah. You show you're a person.
I agree. And I think this is again coming back to the fact that when we are afraid of doing videos, when we are afraid of putting ourselves out there, when we are afraid of all of these things, it actually should be your strength. That feeling, okay, I feel uncomfortable doing so, but I'm gonna go over it, and then you're gonna feel so much better, and you're gonna also have this like knowledge or knowing that, okay, I'm gonna continue, or I'm just gonna say that I know. Many of us who do the first video or second video, they give up. Because it's
not allowed for us.
So don't do that. Just don't do it. Even you're not going to be perfect. I'm far away from perfect. And to be honest, today I like that I'm far away from perfect, because it gives me so much improvement. Like it gives me so much freedom to be I mean, how do I say the opposite of not being perfect? Like, I mean, not being perfect. And also gives me a freedom to fail, freedom to do all of this, because if I know, this didn't work, I didn't know how to do that, I'm going to go and learn, or somebody knows how to do it. And eventually I have so many skills that I can help others. I can do, and this is just I would say like a pack bag with skill sets. You have everything, so you're never going to lose.
It's forever, and personal brand is also forever. And you can also I can tell you like how much more valuable I feel as a member of the team because I can bring my personal brand. Mm-hmm. The other day somebody introduced me as a LinkedIn influencer. I thought I almost I didn't know what to say. But actually, imagine it's a new skill set I did not have a year ago, actually. Mm-hmm. And as you were talking, I just kind of reflected how adults don't like to be in an environment where they don't know anything. They're literally like babies. Mm-hmm. Don't know anything, because adults are the smart ones who know everything. And when you put them in an environment when they are starting from zero, like they can't walk, equivalent of not knowing how to walk as a baby, and you put them there and adults just look like children.
Because the ego gets hurt.
Exactly.
It's the moment, because if you which is why I'm not a big fan of labels. And that's the reason I'm not a big fan of labels, because if you put yourself a label that, for example, someone is a director, then we have this feeling that this director has to know everything and there is no right or wrong answer for the director. No, we are constantly learning. We are constantly growing. So we see how the world has changed just within 10 years. Now we make videos with our phones. We're doing things. But if you're a director, let's say, you never learned these skills. You never even had the possibility to learn it. So to be in this mindset that, oh, no, I'm not going to do this because I've done it 20 years like this. I mean, of course you can do this. I'm not here to force anybody to do what they don't want, but that's true. We stick to our ego and then we are there instead of letting go of it and see what's going to happen. Because if you have a knowledge, if you have skills, if you know what you're doing, you're not going to harm your brand ever, like who you are. But of course, if you're going to scam and if you're going to...
Let's not do that.
If you're going to steal money and if you're going to do all of that stuff, I mean, yes, your personal brand can go all the way downhill. But I can see this over and over again. Like, I mean, even though I'm not the biggest... I mean, marketing is, as you can see, the big people in the world. Their marketing has also come through negativity. That they have dramas, they have things that are happening, and then they get the press behind it. And once you have a press behind it, you even have more possibilities than before. We have a cat who wants to join.
Keep her, let her join.
Is your influence?
Yes.
Cyprus cat. So yeah, I would just say exactly not to get afraid of what's going to come, because you're not going to be likable for everybody, and you have to become again very comfortable with the fact that it's not the popularity contest, and people are going to disagree with you and agree and disagree. But if you know what you're speaking from your heart and from your truth, from your experience, I mean, nobody can take away your experience. Like, even if you have failed as an entrepreneur, no one can take away and say, oh, this never happened to you. Well, it did happen. What did you learn? How did you come here? So I think it's your skill set still, even if you fail. I think so. I mean, I never knew how to edit videos before. I had no idea how to put, let's say, podcasts together. None of it. And still, I mean, it's work in progress. But I know that each time I learn. And I'm never going to lose.
And look, I mean, also, I think we're talking a lot about, with high importance, why people should create content, put it out there, build their personal brand. And that's also, I mean, and you talked about the struggles and challenges to do that. And because a lot of the things that you described is a day-to-day life of an entrepreneur. So when entrepreneur doesn't want to do content and pitch their product and startup and themselves and build a brand, I'm literally kind of thinking like, yeah, but you're doing this every day in your startup in a different shape and form. Why are you then not doing it as well when it comes to actually, it's sales and marketing. You're doing sales and marketing on social media platforms. So I think it's like entrepreneurial journey is, amazing, a very rewarding one. But you have to be, as you say, willing to learn and willing to fail. It doesn't work and you improve and so on. But I really want to say to everyone, doing social media content for social media, it's such a rewarding experience. And I have such a blast. I'm sure you have as well,
I think it's one of the beautiful part of it. And it's my biggest regret, one of my biggest regrets. But I always say when the time is right, everything's going to happen. So there's that. I used to do a lot of one-on-one in terms of giving my advice of what you should do and how you should do, instead of taking already and today talking it with you and telling you, do this, do that, and that's going to happen. So I reach to so many more people just like that, instead of doing the one-on-one all the time. Oh, let's have a call, then I'm going to discuss, and then I have a next call, which is exactly same topic, exact same thing, and I'm telling exact same stuff. So it's like, I'm wasting my time instead of building it more, instead of giving it. That's why my own personal brand, so-called, is much like it's behind, because I'm building for everybody else, because after one call and after. So that's why I would say it's my biggest regret that I didn't do it earlier, of putting it exactly out there, how it works, what are the methods, what worked for me and what worked for others, to save time. Because you reach out to. And I'm just going to also say another thing. Even if you have, and this sounds maybe crazy, but even if you have, let's say, you do a really good content, you know what you're doing, like really good in that sense that it comes from your expertise, from your thing. Even if you have 1,000 followers, let's say you gather somehow 1,000 followers, you're going to have more clients than you ever had before. It's just how it is. Because, so not to be afraid of, oh, I only have 1,000. No, 1,000 is a lot if you think of like right now, let's say there's a conference and you're in front of 1,000 people. It's a lot of people. It's not, so the scaling is, I think through social media, is so much better and time saving as well. Like, yes, you have to do a lot of upfront work, but eventually it's out there, and it's kind of like, I have one tutorial video because sometimes like people asking me exactly the 3 main questions, and I just send them that video. I'm like, listen, watch this video and then we discuss again, because it's just so long for me to explain the same thing over. Can you imagine if I do it 8 hours telling you the same thing what I'm telling right now? It's a little bit of waste of time, I would say. And also it stays alive. So social media in that sense, I mean, I'm first of all very happy. So now it's this, we're going to discuss one more thing about it, exactly what helped you to get the 8 million views, or what are the exact steps. But also another thing is what we're going to say, like on this podcast or the videos you're seeing, you're going to see exactly how we're going to scale Anton's YouTube, or I mean our both together in that sense. You're going to see this, what it takes, how fast it's going to have a turnover, or how slow it's going to be the turnover. So you're going to have this completely alive with my skill sets, with Anton's skill sets. So you're just going to see, and then you realize, okay, this is possible for me too if I'm going to follow these steps. So coming back to the 8 million views on LinkedIn, when did you notice that it started to go viral? And what did you start to do difference from the viral?
Yes. I was very, very, very lucky that one of the first few posts that I did, they kind of went viral. I think it was literally like the 3rd post, went viral. And just to explain for everybody who's listening, what does a viral mean on LinkedIn? The post got, I think, around 150,000 views. So by the way, just for everyone who's listening, this is insane. So 150,000 views on LinkedIn is insane. So if you think like, oh, but I only get 15,000, which is 10 times less from, this guy who's talking. 15,000 is already amazing. It's like really a lot. 150,000, you're insane. You're like everybody relevant basically sees your content actually. And I think actually for me, I was so lucky because of that, because it immediately showed me, the stuff that Birgith says, it works actually. But I was lucky. And the reason why I was lucky is because I created the right content at the right time, because it was like I wrote about crypto exchanges, market making, all of that stuff. And FTX, the largest crypto exchange on the planet, bankrupted because it was a scam. Kind of. And then I was explaining what happened in the back that only the insiders of FTX knew. So I was just lucky, but I was lucky because the timing was perfect actually, So the post went viral. And for me, like when that happened, I just said to myself, whatever Birgith is saying, I'm believing. It works. Like once you have that first content that kind of does a little bit better, you believe in it. You don't have any doubts anymore, And that was actually like really the first thing. And that actually really kind of solidified it in my mind to keep on going. And then I profiled myself for like 6 months. I was writing about this thing called crypto shadow banking ecosystem. This is such a specific terminology that I just even said, but I was explaining what happens at the crypto exchanges with this borrowing and lending on cryptos and why it all exploded. And for these 6 months, I was writing a lot about it. So like more than 50% of my content was about that. People started to know me. This is the shadow banking ecosystem guy, because they never heard about it before. They heard it from me actually. And really kind of, I was lucky. I had this success, and then I just kept on going more and more doing what works actually. But at some point, I actually kind of realized I was kind of becoming boring and repetitive even for myself actually. So I started broadening the type of topics and content I was creating. So I started talking about NFTs, about Web3, which always as well, I know a lot about it actually, about Bitcoin, about, are we in a bull market, bear market, how is this evolving? I started, providing some data, how I see it, argumented. And this was kind of like that kind of growth, what was started happening. But really for me, the biggest game changer was when I said, I need to go all in. I cannot do 1 post per day, 2 posts per day. This is a joke. I need to go all in. And I remember like more than 6-7 months ago, I started doing like 5 posts per day, which was a lot of effort there.
I'm going to just clarify a few things. Why also Anton had a chance in terms of going viral, and because he has the knowledge and he has the expertise. So this is something we have to understand that if you are just starting out like you have no idea what you're doing and you're just, so you have to be ready that it's not going to happen, because Anton has over, 15 years of time of all of the finance, knowing all of this. So obviously, you know the right words, you know the right markets, you study them, you understand them. So which means, and then you're able to put this in a proper form. So but it hasn't happened, like it didn't happen with 1 year. I mean, it's a decades of work by the time now to put it out there. So just to say that part, because I also knew when Anton came to me and we started discussing, I was like, I know he's gonna do well. And this is,
thank you.
I'm gonna say also that I'm a bit, I don't even know, selfish, because the clients I work with, I often say, okay, I see, it's gonna work, because obviously I want that my clients are successful, because then I'm successful too, like what's the point for me to put so much time and effort? And I have made these mistakes. I made these mistakes over and over again, which you can of course hear in the future episodes, how I take a client and I'm like, I see that they don't have this X factor, but my strong will or something is like, okay, I can make it. If you don't have that X factor, it's so difficult. It will take years to get there. It's the same way. I'm not here because I started yesterday. I've been doing it since the age of 19. And so it's again over decades of work that took me here. So it's not overnight success actually. But it doesn't mean that you cannot make it. It's just learn and know what your strengths are and who you are. And then another thing is, I want to say that you started posting more, but now I noticed, because I know that in between, Anton didn't want to post his videos into LinkedIn.
Nowhere, actually, by the way, nowhere, actually. Not that you think it's just LinkedIn. Nowhere, I was hiding from the world.
Okay, let's just think about this then. When did that mindset shift for you? When did you overcome from that fear and of that?
So, I mean, just to say, so why did I started actually doing videos was something, I mean, first of all, I felt it like, come on, I have to do it. I need to overcome that challenge. I cannot now end my life in 60 years and say that I didn't want to do videos because I was afraid. So on one side, it was like a personal challenge, because I really wanted to do it. And I had to like a little bit discover how I do it in the right way, how I do it to make myself feel comfortable. I need to learn a little bit how the editing works. I need to acquire basic skills to liberate myself and kind of get out of the comfort zone. So this was on one thing, like just kind of like saying, okay, I want to do it. The second thing, even more important in my view, is because you discover that trust cannot be built through text. I don't know if this is fortunate or unfortunate, or let me say like it's extremely, extremely, extremely difficult to build trust through text alone. And when I was listening to you, and reading about it and watching videos, by the way, when people are explaining trust is built through videos because people can get to know you. They see your face. We're visual creatures, and audio is very important, but people get to know you through video actually. And I said, damn it, I'm doing content. I'm getting attention because my content, text content, was attracting attention, but I'm not building trust. People have no clue who is this guy actually. And I said, I need to break that curse that I put on myself, by the way. I need to make sure that I start doing videos. And it was then just brute force, saying I would pick up the camera and say, I don't know what, something has to come out now, And I was then, obviously I was forcing the first videos. I mean, like when I started actually doing it, I was forcing in the beginning, but today I actually have a process. I have a process how to create 5-6 videos per day in a very short time period, how I edit it extremely fast, how it's at the right format. I have the hook. So I say the biggest secret in crypto industry that nobody's telling you about. So it's a proper hook, and then I tell a little bit, I keep you engaged, and then at the end say, I bet you wonder what's the biggest secret. And then I say it, to deliver on the values. So today I have a process. I know a lot better how to create a fairly good video and not afraid to put it out there. But as you know, it was a journey actually, with which you were telling me all the time about.
This is the thing with me that I can tell, but it takes time for getting the information. So that's why I think that podcast or what we are doing right now is very helpful, because you will see that if somebody tells you something, we don't tell you this because, I don't know, we want to make you suffer or we want to make you to not make it. It's the opposite. I want you to make it, but listen what I have to say in that sense, that start doing it. But of course, in the beginning, so much is going to go on. You're thinking this, that, oh, how do I do it? But coming back to the fact that I know that in the beginning you disagree with me. And how do you disagree with this? Because I have this that normally, depending on the account, depending on the client, depending on everything, I sit down on Monday, for example, and I plan out the whole content. Of course, if something happens in between, that's a different story. But I plan out, or let's say I cut the videos, I cut the information, and I know what's going to go out, because that will give me the time, another 5 days, to engage with an audience. Because if I would do it daily, I don't have as much as time, because even if we think of making a short video, like short, you first think of the topic, you do this, it's normally actually 1 hour and a half in that sense. Like if you want to put it out there in all the platforms and everything. So it's not going to happen like, oh, I make a video, I just type it here and it's going to happen. No, if you have the process in place, normally even a short video is 1 hour and a half, like just to publish it, because I've tracked the time for my clients and I'm like, then that's why for my system is a little different, that I plan and then I have a time to grow, that people would actually see the post I did it. And that's, I know that you disagreed in the beginning. How is your process now? Do you do this like scheduling in the morning? So
the process when I create with videos is first there is the idea phase. Mm-hmm. So if I I have a goal to do 5 videos per day actually. So first I need to actually have ideas for what to do. The ideas that I have are either the ones that are topical all the time, usually they're called evergreen topics, evergreen ideas. And the other one is trending ideas. Like you were telling me, Anton, you need to cover the trends. So I would then define those ideas for short format videos that I would want to do on that particular day. The way then works is that I use a platform called Restream. And I actually connect to that platform through my phone, and a person who helps me, with that kind of warming me up and asking me questions also connects to that platform on Restream. We hide all the videos except the one on my phone, and then I chat a little bit to warm up, to kind of get in the good mood. And then the person on the other side just fires, says, okay, Anton, first topic, yesterday Bitcoin crashed from 72,000 to 63,000. You were telling me that it's like, why did it happen? Go for it. And then I immediately blast content directly, into that recording, this recording, and then we move to the second topic, third, fourth, fifth, and this filming actually takes between up to 10 minutes actually. So, just for you to know, it doesn't mean that the whole thing takes 10 minutes. There was an ideation phase, Then we had the call with the recording. After this is done, it has to go into editing, it has to get chopped up. I have to remove the pieces where person says, oh, Anton, this was not clear, we need to do another one. The sound was not good. Okay, let's go again. So this editing has to happen. I have to put captions. I have to make the video look good. And once that is done, it has to go uploaded on all the platforms. Mm-hmm. At different times of the day, obviously. And after that has happened, then I have to engage as well, what you said. So even though I said, it takes me 10 minutes to record the videos, but ideation phase, recording, editing, uploading, engaging, this is actually serious work.
Yeah. And that's why I think of, and also because it's with my work, when often when I've been hired for somebody thinks, what it is to post on social media, you just take a post and you put it there. But it starts from the idea, it starts from the creation, it starts from all of this. So which means that if you think I just do writing the text, or even let's say copy pasting for ChatGPT, it doesn't work like this. It's like getting a good 1 week post requires for me to do the research, for me to create it, for me all of this. So it's not actually just like, and that's why also when we do the content, it doesn't happen when you just wake up right now from your sofa. Well, sometimes good ideas are coming when you wake up from your sofa. I'm not here to say that, but it's not all the time. It is a work. And so if you do one time, you have one video goes viral because you got up from your sofa and you did that, I'm going to tell you that next 10 times it's not going to happen. It just was that moment. It was that right moment. The right thing happened. But then if you want to go viral again, you need to have a structure and things in place, and you know what you're going to do, because otherwise... Okay, so this is about the viral content. And I
think I know what will go viral if we discuss it. how did you buy your first Bitcoin? And what was my role in that as well? Because
I know Anton for years. I mean, when Bitcoin was really like, I don't know how many, 8,000, 9,000 or something like this. But again, that's why I say why you should listen to this podcast and don't make these mistakes I made and don't make mistakes like Anton made. Because first of all, I didn't even understand. I mean, there's Bitcoin, okay, where to buy it, how to buy it. Actually, it was so simple if I think back, because you had
I had the crypto exchange where you can buy, by the way, I was about to say, I was running a big crypto exchange where you can buy Bitcoin. Not enough to convince sometimes people. You know?
And so I'm there like, oh, okay, yeah. Listening to Anton asking questions, serious questions like, wow, like, how did you do this? You're so smart. Wow. But not obviously buying anything, even though having the money for it. And even having a financial understanding. Like, I had no idea that if you, let's say, for example, if you invest over there, like back then, you know, you don't, I think in Switzerland, you don't have capital gain tax and all of these kind of things, which, I mean, exactly, like, that's why I say, you need to know about entrepreneurship, you need to know about finance, and you need to know about marketing if you want to make it. And that's why coming back to the Bitcoin, of course, this year I bought it. Now after 10 years, bit of a regret, no? Yes. But I've heard from Anton and I trust Anton because, I mean, I know him so many years, and that's why I say if he says something, you better listen. It's just cut out all the other things you're listening and you're trying to find. Just listen, because if somebody's been in this industry so many years and you've built 3 companies,
yes, exactly.
3 companies. Well, he knows about money. He knows about the finance. So that's why make sure you like and subscribe and you're going to follow this, because we're going to walk you through what's going to happen. So I bought my first Bitcoin now in January.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
So January, because Anton said this year is the year.
Yes, that was.
We will see in January 2025, was it the year or wasn't? But I'm just going to say, and I don't know, now you can look at me and see like, oh, this blonde doesn't know anything. And I'm very honest, I did not know. But another day when I had bought, shall we talk about the strategy, what we do, or we?
Yeah, absolutely, actually, yeah. How it came about, everything, yeah.
So, because Anton told me buy every week. Yes. So every week, whatever free money you have, I don't know, you have 10 euros or you have 100 euros or you have 500 euros or you have 1,000, I don't know, you know, or dollars, whichever you have, but buy every week. So that's how I was doing it. And so far it is working for me. And another day, what made me very happy, of course, I mean, with crypto, it can go down anytime. But what made me very happy, because I'm an extremely hardworking woman, like I know how to make money, but I don't know how to make money to money. And then when I went to see my portfolio and I saw that, wow, magically it had happened more. Of course, it can go down. I'm not here to say that. But it made me feel good, and it made me feel also the fact that, okay, I need to understand it better. I need to understand what to do with my money, because I am this old person, you know, like the grandmother who is hiding the money in the bank, like, no.
Under the mattress, yeah.
Under the mattress. Maybe it's going to go away. Instead of letting it to grow and instead of doing it with something good. So that is going to be a big lesson for me on that podcast and what we're going to do to understand. So yeah, I can say so far, I can say buy the Bitcoin. Anton knows that it's going to be the year. Well, you can just give.
Yeah, I can just, first of all, I'm very grateful that after 10 years of knowing each other, I managed to crack it, you know, and convince you. And, you know, I mean, also for me, it was like, I ran a crypto exchange and I was always feeling like, come on, you know, but I understand, first of all, it's very important to educate people, to explain them, make them feel comfortable for them to make their first step, you know. And I just remember, you know, because we saw each other last year, we saw each other many times. And whenever you ask me about Bitcoin, you know, I would say, ooh, no, not now. Now it's rough. We don't do things when they're rough. I will tell you when it's kind of a little bit better. And I remember I came to visit you end of last year, and we sat down together and I said, now is the time to buy. Now you're going to buy. And I also remember I told you, I said, look, just let's agree how, you slowly start buying. But I also told you, very important is to sell at the right time. So I said this magic word, I said, Birgith, I will give you a call and I will say the magic words. The magic words are the party is over. And that means we sell everything and then we, invest somewhere else. So
again, I'm going to say in the between those who want to know how to do it, sign up, make sure that you are part of Anton's newsletter and channel over here, because you will receive it the same way. So you better be our subscriber already today in order to know when the party is over.
Exactly, which is very important, and you will get the subject email with the subject line, the party is over, remember?
And if you don't receive it,
then it's, if it's in spam or you didn't sign up, then it's, but first I think it's like, I'm really actually grateful that you had an experience with it, and it's a positive one because the prices went up objectively quite a lot, and, maybe I wanted to ask you, tell us, where do you buy Bitcoin? Which app you use? I mean, it doesn't matter, because just for people to know, how does it actually work? Because I think a lot of people are now saying, okay, Birgith is buying, but where is she doing? Xiao is doing, but how does it work a little bit?
My strategy is very simple, very blunt strategy. So steal it if you can. If not, there are links in the description where you can get it. I have a Revolut app. So Revolut allows you to buy very easily. You just buy, nothing else. So I'm buying from Revolut once a week. I have it right now Wednesday. Okay. I've been thinking of moving to Thursday. I'm going to be very honest that sometimes I'm not exactly following, because sometimes I buy Wednesday and I buy on Thursday. So
twice.
But I have free money. Okay. And so far, there was a point where it was 44% up for me. Yeah. Now it is around, I don't know, 27% or something like this, because it went down a little bit. So Revolut, I would highly recommend it. It's so easy. Yes. There is nothing, and you can sign up, in my opinion, online, order the card home. Yes. So that's all I know so far. Maybe I'm going to be smarter in about 10 episodes from here on.
That's amazing. I think also, you really explained it, the reality is that you really have an app that you sign up on, you put a little bit of free money, has to be really clear, free money that you can invest, and you just press the buy button, mm-hmm. and you select how much you want to buy, and you buy. And likewise on the app, you can also sell, just to make it obvious to people. You don't have to go somewhere else to sell.
It's immediately. Yes. So which means you need money to cash out. You can do this immediately. So there is no waiting or something. But of course, make sure you're going to invest the money you have, and not all of your savings or something like this, because this is also, we're going to definitely discuss on this podcast. So just is not to put everything in a one pot and hope the magic to happen, to have a bit of which I have to learn as well. So you're going to learn alongside with me. Okay. I think our second episode is amazing, more or less wrapped up. If you have any questions, if there is anything that you would like to learn, you would like to know, make sure to follow us. All the links are in the description. Also, you will see it on the screen over here. And until the next episode, what we do, Wednesday or Thursday?
Both, actually. Why not both?
We buy crypto on both days.
As we buy crypto, that's how we do episodes, so we can reflect. Yeah.
Exactly. So, and in order for us to continue, your support is very important. And if you find it valuable, and I'm just going to say that here is just in about 1 month, so we're going to have 3 episodes in between, but in about 1 month, you're going to see the things. In the next episode, we're going to discuss how we're going to grow Anton's YouTube. You're going to see the methods we did, how we did it, and what are the results. So, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. That was awesome. Thank you.